In this video, I'm going to continue discussing blood types. I probably mentioned in the last video there are several different ways to blood type people. Um, we talked about the ABO blood typing. Now what we're going to talk about is a separate blood typing, and that is the Rh antigen. It's also known as the D antigen. It got the Rh because it was first found in rhesus monkeys, and that you spell that with an Rh. So that's where it got the Rh antigen, but do know that it also is called the D antigen. So what we're going to look at here is what does that mean when someone is Rh positive? Okay, when someone is Rh positive. When someone is Rh positive, it means on their red blood cells, they have a little antigen, just think of it as a little plus. Okay, so imagine this person's blood, their red blood cells have little pluses on them, or the D antigen. So they are Rh positive. An Rh negative person does not have that antigen. Okay, an Rh negative person does not have that antigen. So 85% of the population is Rh positive. So obviously, genetically speaking, being Rh positive is the dominant trait. So why do we bring this up, and why is this an issue? This is an issue especially when a woman is Rh negative, and I'll go through that explanation. So the first thing you need to know, okay, the first thing you need to know besides what the Rh antigen is that an Rh negative person is not born with Rh antibodies, but they can make them. Let me say that again. An Rh negative person is not born with Rh antibodies, but they can make them if exposed to Rh positive blood. Tying it back to the ABO blood typing, a type A person is born with B antibodies. So this is a little different. An Rh negative person is not born with Rh antibodies, but can make them if exposed to Rh positive blood. So if you didn't get that, go rewind me and listen to that again. Okay, so here's the concern when you have an Rh negative female and an Rh positive male. So they make a little baby, and here it is. Chances are, what blood type is that child going to have? By the 85% rule, the majority of children that they conceive are going to be Rh positive. So what happens is during fetal development, during pregnancy, you have a baby that has Rh positive blood in the mother that has Rh negative blood. Usually, with the first pregnancy, it's not a problem. Blood cells do not go across the placenta. And what I mean by that is the baby's red blood cells are not going into the mother's bloodstream, and the mother's blood is not going into the baby's bloodstream. So usually with this, the first child is not a concern. But as she gives birth to the child, what will happen is the Rh positive blood of the baby will get into the bloodstream of the Rh negative mother, which they're showing you here. What will happen is the mom will have an immune response. Her body is going to see this blood as being foreign, and she's going to produce lots of antibodies to that Rh positive blood. So usually the first child is born, there's not a problem. But if this woman who's Rh negative and now has Rh antibodies gets pregnant again, chances are that child is going to be Rh positive. But now there's a difference. These antibodies are much smaller than blood cells. So the antibodies from the mother can then diffuse into the child, and they will be able to grab on to the red blood cells. They will see it as being something foreign, and they will attack them. So what can happen with this? One, the child could not survive. They may be miscarried. They may be born, but then they can be severely anemic. So there are several different scenarios that can play out here. Most of them are not good for the fetus. So why don't we hear about this very much? We don't hear about this very much because of a drug called Rhogam. So if a woman is Rh negative, what they are going to do is they are going to give her the drug Rhogam, usually before the end of the pregnancy, right after the end of the pregnancy. They can spread it out. It's all near the end or right after the pregnancy. They will give her this drug Rhogam. Here's what Rhogam does. It's important that you know this. Rhogam will stop the production of Rh antibodies. Rhogam will stop the production of Rh antibodies. What it will not do, once she's produced antibodies, it will not get rid of them. So Rhogam can't get rid of them, so you have to give them to the mother at a time before she would produce them, and it will inhibit the production of those Rh antibodies. So when a Rh negative woman, I've even seen when the male is Rh negative and the female is Rh negative, and it shouldn't be a concern that they still will give the mother Rhogam in order to stop the production of Rh antibodies. So that is the issue with Rh antigen or the D antigen. That's why we're discussing it, because it does play a role in a lot of women's lives. And that's what happens. Make sure you understand this. Okay. Two big things. A person that is Rh negative is not born with Rh antibodies, but can make them if exposed to Rh positive blood. The second thing is Rhogam does not get rid of Rh antibodies, but it prevents the production of Rh antibodies. Some people ask the question, how about if the woman's Rh positive and the man is Rh negative? That does not matter. Okay, that does not matter. Rh positive person can have an Rh negative or an Rh positive baby and not have an issue. So it does not matter if the male is Rh negative. Okay, that's it for that. So make sure you go through the ABO blood typing and the Rh blood typing. Thank you.